Hi everyone, you're watching Tamit Saleh's Tennis Forum, and wow, what a performance from Novak Djokovic. An absolute masterclass in the final. Few of us predicted such a one-sided final. It was the Lacoste derby. Both players, of course, sponsored by Lacoste, which is why I'm wearing it today. But yeah, wow, Novak Djokovic, he just showed us today why he is the King of Melbourne. An amazing performance against Daniil Medvedev, winning 7-5, 6-2, 6-2. And yeah, this video is basically all about Novak and his performance at Australia. I'd like to hear your thoughts of the matter because, before the match began, there was a lot of hype around Medvedev, and rightly so. As you know, he was on a 20-match win streak, 12 of those coming against top 10 opponents. He'd won the previous 3 tournaments all the way back from Paris last year, and he was really looking like the guy to beat. In this Australian Open, he was on fire. He defeated Tsitsipas and Rublev in the 2 rounds prior in straight sets, looking very, very good. The only match he dropped sets in was round number 3 against Krajinovic, where he was taken to a surprise 5th. But yeah, he was looking phenomenal. And a lot of people were predicting Medvedev to win. If you look at all the polls and forums on various, I saw it on Twitter, Men's Tennis Forum, etc., it was all looking like towards Medvedev. It was close. On my channel, the polls actually predicted Novak, but I do appreciate there are a lot of Novak fans here. But yeah, it was close. Even the bookies had it at pretty much 50-50, slight favourite to Novak. Before the match, in my preview, I put Novak as the slight favourite, but I was very on the fence, let's say. It could have gone either way. I did not expect such a one-sided performance. It was breathtaking. The first set, it was close, and the closest it got. I believe that was crucial in terms of Medvedev's chances. He really did need to win that first set, but even then he lost it 7-5, so he was broken at a crucial time. And just when the match started, Novak chose to serve as he does so often. And in the past 11 of 13 Slam finals Novak has played, he's won the opening set. So he likes that quick early start, and lo and behold, he got that opening break of serve against Medvedev to go 2-0 up in the first set. And Medvedev, he actually hit all of them as first serve. So it shows what an amazing returner Novak is. In this tournament, Medvedev has been averaging around the 80%, slightly higher, around 78, 80, 83, 86. In terms of first serve points won. In this match, it was down to 68% only. And Medvedev 6'6", big serve. I think it was Tsitsipas the round before. He said that he was serving like John Isner, and John Isner is such a phenomenal server. So really credit to Novak for his return play. Medvedev did get the break back, and then it was going on serve. But watching the match, I felt like Medvedev was playing the slightly better tennis in that first set, midway point. He was getting chances on Novak's serve, and it was a very, very tight match. Medvedev was winning more of the longer rallies, I felt. And this is just not based off stats. This is just based off what I could see during the match. Djokovic at 6-5, he got his set point and he took it off a Medvedev first serve as well. And then he really didn't look back. So he won the first set 7-5. In the second set, and this is where it was danger for Medvedev. He broke first game 1-0 to Medvedev, and you're thinking, right, he's put past the whole first set disappointments, and this is where he's really going to start kicking on. But then Novak won 4 games in a row, which not only he covered that break of serve, he got a break of serve ahead himself. Medvedev made it 4-2, Djokovic made it 5-2, and then broke again to make it 6-2. And he also, for me, this is very important. I feel like it's very... it's not the be-all and end-all, but it's a great thing to serve first in a set. I've always said that. I feel like that is a great advantage. And for you to break a serve to win a set, you're then guaranteeing you serve first in the next set again. And that's exactly what Novak done, 6-2. It was roughly midway through the second set that Medvedev started losing his cool. He started, he smashed his racket. He got a little violation for that. He he was looking at his box. He was really moaning after almost every point, and you could see that he was really struggling. I felt though that after the second set, he's bearing in mind the US Open final against Rafa in 2019. He was 2-0 down, came back to win the next two, did eventually lose, but the fact that he came back, and we've seen it in this tournament as well, where Tsitsipas came back from 2 sets down against Rafa. Taylor Fritz, now I know there was an injury concern. We're going to touch on that injury because there has been some updates. Fritz did it against Novak, coming back from 2-0, did end up losing the match though. So, and Karatsev was 2-0 down against Felix, came back to win the match. So I still didn't think it was over at 2-0, but wow, Novak just powered on in the third, and he won the third set 6-2 as well. The match point, the championship point was a thing of beauty really. So if there was any shot of Novak's you could say isn't elite, it'd be the overhead smash. And for him to not only do an overhead smash, but it was an awkward one, it was slightly behind him, it was a great shot to win the championship point. It just summed up Novak Djokovic really. An absolute phenomenal performance there from Novak, which of course takes him to 18 Grand Slams, only 2 away now from Roger and Rafa, who are both on 20 slams, and it is getting really spicy in the whole Grand Slam race. This Australian Open, Novak Djokovic has really, he himself said, has gone through an emotional roller coaster. He's the top ace, like he's hit the most aces in the entire tournament. I remember back in his younger days, Novak Djokovic was not known for his service. It was one of his weaker shots, but now he is serving amazingly, especially in those clutch situations, which we normally are accustomed to Roger Federer doing. But yeah, Novak is serving the best I think he has ever served, and it really shows him adapting to shortening points as he's getting older. He's adapting his game, and this is what keeps the big three where they are now. They've had multiple generations of talent coming through, but they always find a way to adapt and evolve, and that is such a crucial thing when you're already the best. You can understand someone who's maybe 5th, 6th, 7th in the world adapting their game to change, but being at the top and still finding ways to improve, that is what makes the big three such incredible champions as they are. As I touched upon, Novak is now on 18 slams, only 2 behind Roger and Rafa. It could get really spicy. I mean, going into Roland Garros, Rafa is the odds-on favourite to win yet another Roland Garros, making it 21 slams for him. But then Wimbledon, I'd say, so before the year began, I did a podcast with Gil Gross last year, and I said that Wimbledon is more of a guaranteed, it's not guaranteed, but more of a guaranteed slam to Novak than the Australian Open, simply because of the competition. And he's got a lot of competition on hard courts, but on grass, I feel like the next gen aren't up there yet. I feel like his biggest threat on grass is still Roger and Rafa, and I think he beats both really at Wimbledon. And with the way he's serving, it's going to be a very big weapon on the grass for Novak. So I can see Novak winning at least another slam this year. US Open perhaps as well. French Open probably the least likely, but you never know, it could happen. So yeah, things could get really tight at the top. One thing that hasn't been mentioned too much, because it hasn't happened yet, but I mean it's guaranteed at this point, is that Novak will become the number 1 player for most weeks at number 1, men's side I should add. So he will overtake Roger's record of 310 weeks. Now, go back 5 years when Roger I think he was stuck on 285 for a while, with Pete on 286, and then in 2017 he got that number 1 and extended it to 310 weeks, and you were looking at that thinking there is no way anyone is even coming close to that. Well, that record has been broken now, and that's one of the big records in tennis, the most weeks at number 1. That record is now going to be held by Novak. On March the 8th he overtakes Roger Federer, so that's just it's mind-boggling consistency there. So yeah, things are looking very bright in the Djokovic camp. Now, touching on that injury, so I said in my preview that I don't think he faked it. There is no common sense or logic behind faking an injury when you're 2-0 up, and then what you're essentially saying is faking an injury, throwing away 2 sets, and then winning. I just didn't see, and there was clearly a problem with him. You knew he wasn't at 100 fitness. even against Raonic and Zverev. And after that, he said he felt better. Now, what I thought was, I didn't think it was a tear. I thought he thought it was a tear, but it was probably something less. Now, he has come out and he has said throughout the tournament that he's not going to talk about the injury until after the tournament, and he's kept his word, and he has confirmed that he actually did have a tear, and he's even said speak to the doctors or the physio and they can confirm. So I think it's been a little bit unfair the way he's been treated for this injury. A lot of people saying he's not injured or he's faking it or he's exaggerating, etc. If any other player won a Grand Slam with a tear, muscle tear, what can this guy achieve when he doesn't have a tear? Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, for him to do that. And he's even come out and said that there'll be a documentary coming out later this year where we'll be able to see all his preparation and recovery routines and everything. So I think that case is now closed about whether he faked it or not. He had a tear, and for me it's mind-boggling what he has done, and I feel like a lot of respect needs to be shown for the fact that even with an injury, because look, he's not the only player who had an injury. We had Dominic Thiem, Zverev, Dimitrov, and I think a couple of others who had the very same issue, abdominal injuries, and Novak had the same thing, and he's gone on to win another Australian Open. This, of course, his 9th Australian Open. He's been to 9 semi-finals, he's been to 9 finals, and now he's won 9 titles. So he really is the King of Melbourne, and he also becomes the second man to win 9 at a specific Grand Slam. He was tied on 8 with Roger, who won 8 Wimbledons. He's now 9, so he's second, of course, behind Rafa on 13 Roland Garros. I don't think anyone will ever catch that. Not even Novak. I just don't see, because I can still see Rafa adding to that number 13 as well. So I think Rafa probably will win another 2 more French Opens, so he'll get to that 15, I think, which is amazing. I do think Novak will get to 10 Australian Opens as well, and that'd be quite a nice number for him to end it on. If you look at the the trophy ceremony, I thought the 2 speeches from both Medvedev and Djokovic were really, really nice speeches. Medvedev sharing that story where he met Djokovic, or he trained with him, or he played a practice session with Novak. Medvedev was ranked 600th in the world, so essentially a nobody, not to be disrespectful. Novak was the world number 1 and also the defending Wimbledon champion. Medvedev was saying he was very shy and he was a bit nervous to play Novak, but the way Novak treated him, he spoke with him, he treated him like a friend, and he's saying that from rank 600 to now rank 4, Novak has always been a nice person to him. And he elaborated in his post-match interview as well, where he was saying that he heard some things about Novak in the media where he wasn't a nice person, and he was like, Novak's been great to him. So that was it was a very beautiful story, and it shows the humbleness and the character Medvedev is. Sometimes he's a bit fiery, he's an opinionated guy, but Medvedev always, I have massive respect for Medvedev, and as Novak said in his interview, I'm sure he will win multiple slams. I see Medvedev as a multiple slam champion in the future. Djokovic jokingly said that, can you just hold on for a few more years? And yeah, it was a great press conference or trophy ceremony. You should really watch it. Djokovic, in his press conference as well, he was asked about everything that was said about him in the media and by other players. I don't need to say who. And he said himself that it hurts him as a human being. No one likes anything bad. Even myself, when I'm very blessed that I have such a nice, loving, and it's a very friendly community we have here. But you do get the occasional not nice comment, and you expect it because it's part of the business, let's say, but it's not nice. And Novak has said that it's sometimes a bit unfair, and I totally feel for him. But the crowd today definitely were on Novak's side. I think it's one of the rare occasions perhaps where he did have the crowd support. Normally they are against him. Australia's probably been the nicest of slams to Novak in terms of crowd reception. There was a lot of Serbians there, and definitely a great atmosphere. And I did miss having crowds in the court, because the TV, they do put fake crowd noises, but it's just not the same. But yeah, this now caps off the first slam of the year. Novak has won the Australian Open. Leave your thoughts below. What did you think of it? I did not expect it to be one-sided. I remember Tsitsipas saying after the semi that he thinks Medvedev is playing so well, but he was saying at the same time he thought Rafa was playing well a couple of years ago, where Rafa just destroyed him. I believe the score was 6-2, 6-4, 6-love in the semi-finals, and he thought 100% Rafa was going to win, but Novak then ended up in a one-sided match against Rafa. Last year against Dominic Thiem, that was a close match. Novak was 2-1 down, came back to win in 5 sets. But this year, Novak just proves why he is the King of Melbourne, and we should never ever doubt these GOATs in their respective slams. Rafa last year at the French Open, if you remember, there was a lot of people saying Djokovic would win the French Open, the conditions suited him, etc. We saw, what a one-sided final that was. This time around, same hype with Medvedev. A lot of people saying Medvedev will win. It was the closest the bookies had the final for any Novak final, but wow, 7-5, 6-2, 6-2. It does speak for itself. Novak, he's not confirmed when he's next going to play. Now, I don't think he's going to play Dubai. I think he'll probably either be back from Miami or he'll just come back for the clay season in Monte Carlo. That's when I think Novak will be back. Medvedev has come out and said he's playing in Rotterdam, and for him, one of the best ways to, let's say, recover mentally from such losses is to just keep playing next tournament, have a couple of days, and then get back into that routine. So tennis is continuing thick and fast. Once again, I apologize for the lack of content. I have been honestly really busy. I have followed the tennis though, but yeah, I will try and be a bit more consistent. You will get a live rankings update. Novak, of course, still world number 1. I think he's even now secured the next 10 weeks or so as world number 1, bare minimum. Medvedev is now the new world number 3. He could have become world number 2 had he won, but he didn't. And bearing in mind, in the last 16 years, only Novak, Rafa, Roger and Andy Murray have been world number 2s. Incredible grip on the rankings, the slams, everything. And one last stat to end this video on. Novak Djokovic extends his lead in terms of big titles. He now has 59 big titles. Rafa has 56 and Roger has 54. And Novak now has 82 career titles as well, and he's now nearing 150 million in terms of prize money alone. So incredible achievement. I think none of us can argue that Novak is the King of Melbourne. He now also, so before this victory, he had 11 hardcourt slams, which is the US Open and the Australian Open. Roger Federer also had 11 hardcourt slams. Now Novak Djokovic, overtakes or becomes the sole record holder for that. He is now on 12 hardcourt slams, so the king of hardcourts, you can say as well. But yeah, wow, what a phenomenal match. Please do share your thoughts. Thank you so much for your lovely comments in my previous video. I made a video after so long. It got 3,000 something views, 100 and something thumbs up, only about 3 dislikes, and some really nice comments. I feel a lot of it is undeserved, but you guys are so appreciative, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, we move on. Congratulations, Novak Djokovic.